Hello. How are you? Can you hear me? Can someone drop me a comment and let me know if I am live? Not seeing any comments coming through. Give me a thumbs up or something. But anyways, I'm Lisa. Thank you for tuning in today. I want to start off by saying thank you to Motivation from the Weightlifting Geek for coordinating and having this hypathon to give me the opportunity to showcase my channel as well as the other YouTubers that might pop in today so that they can, support me as well as promote their channel and share what they're about. I'm not seeing any comments. I'm not sure if I'm doing this correctly. If y'all are out there and can see me and hear me, please drop me a comment. Okay, I see I have a few fellow YouTubers that are popping up that I invited to assist me today. I'm gonna bring them up and add them into the stream. So we have Marlene and Presidential Investing. So I'm gonna bring them up and give them a chance to introduce themselves.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. So, are you guys seeing this? Are we live? Or are you seeing the chat out there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not seeing anything. Can you hold on 1 second? Prez, why don't you introduce yourself and just give people a little bit about your channel? I'm gonna mute for a quick second.
Okay. My name is Mr. President. My channel is Presidential Investing. Basically, what I do, I show in real time how to properly allocate your portfolio with small amounts of capital. Basically, I do weekly portfolio updates that I decided to be transparent with an audience to show them what it looks like day to day, and then occasionally I'll cover particular individual companies that I either own or I'm looking at. That's pretty much it.
Okay, Marlene, can you give a quick little introduction to yourself and your channels?
Sure, Lisa. Hi everybody. I'm Marlene Saunders Show. This is mainly a podcast channel where I talk about real talk, real conversations about, serious topics, things that people don't want to talk about, family secrets, um, baby mama and baby daddy stuff that, people don't want to talk about. I talk about narcissists, and it's any topic that people that would be uncomfortable for people to talk about. I talk about it. So come on over to the Marlene Saunders Show. I would welcome you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. This is my first time doing StreamYard. This is my first time streaming myself. I have streamed together with someone else. Marlene, you were there, but for some reason, I'm not able to see the chat when I'm in StreamYard, but I'm going to just try to work through it. So let's see. Again, I want to thank Motivation for the Weightlifting Geek for coordinating and doing the hypathon. Please like and share this out and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's take a look. African Dreaming, Andre, Wanda. I see so many people here now that I went over and opened a separate tab here so I can see some comments. Thank you guys for Odom. Thank you, Tamika Davis. I see Jamie. Thanks for being here. So let's get into the conversation. So, investing versus trading. Well, Marlene, do you invest on your own or do you just pretty much do it like through your 401k?
I do a combination of both.
You do both.
Yes, I
All
do
right.
both.
So, let me first talk about myself and then maybe you guys could share like your experience. for many years, I would say up until the last maybe 3 years, my only investing was through my 401k. And I think just getting older and just thinking about what the rest of my life was going to look like, and um, starting to actually think about retirement and wanting to retire early is what led me to start investing independently, because I wanted to build money that was not going to be tied to, 59 and a half and older. So I think that was a big part of what made me decide to invest on my own. What led you to uh, invest outside of a Roth or a 401k or something like that through your employer? Prez, can you let me know?
What led me to invest? I originally got into crypto first because of the hype, of course, and then once I saw my everything that I bought was pretty much going downhill because I came in at right at the basically the peak of the bull market. Then I just started pretty much doing my own research and learning how to reallocate my funds to recover some of my losses. Then eventually I started trading here and there.
But what made you, what gave you the desire? What gave you the interest to actually say, I want to do this for myself outside of a 401k or outside of a plan that's being managed for me?
I basically realized that the regular 9 to 5 is like a ball and chain, and I didn't want to end up working till I die. So that's basically
Working
it in
till
a
you die.
nutshell. I don't want to work till I die. I say that at the end of each one of my
Yes,
videos.
that's what I was gonna say. That's the line I know that comes from you. How about you, Marlene? Anything you want to share on what made you invest independently?
Well, I come from a really big family. I'm the 10th child, and my parents were just trying to survive. And I said I don't want to survive for my whole life. Like I want to live. People always say I wait until you're like 60, 70 years old when you can barely walk. Is that when you're supposed to start enjoying your life? I didn't want to do that. I wanted to enjoy my life and have experiences. So I said I was going to make better decisions than people in the past so that not only could I retire early, but I could also enjoy my life.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I wish I had this mindset earlier on, but can't turn back the clock. But right now, I'm just gonna take the next years to uh, just build upon the mindset that I've begun to change with in the last few years, and hopefully, I will be able to build up the real estate and the investments and things that will allow me to, like you said, enjoy life and not be tied to having to work a full-time job into my 60s, like many of our family members have had to do. Um, so I just want to share that this week on Wednesday, I went to see the um, but I was sharing that I went to New York and I saw Stock Mo, Keenan Grace, Larry Jones, and Stocks with Josh, and it was very motivational and great experience. Not sure. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not hearing or seeing anything right now. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah, I
Yes.
hear
hear you.
Okay.
you.
All right. I'm sorry. On my end, it's looking like it was scrolling. Um, but yeah, it's great to be surrounded by um, like-minded people that are going to give you that push and that energy to do these type of things. Because so many times, we're around people that are that don't have the same mindset. So where do you both find that type of atmosphere or that person to talk to that keeps you on track and encourages you with investing or savings, or even like I'm on in some different groups and I see that, like it might be like they might be having a health issue or something, but you kind of know where you can go and share certain things, and you know what kind of response you're going to get, where you're going to be encouraged, where you can say I paid down my bill, or I made this accomplishment, and people are going to like cheer you on. So do you have that, like, with the people around you, or where do you find that? You want to start, Press?
Well, as for me, none of my friends are currently investing in anything of that nature, but I'm constantly like sharing different quotes and stuff like that on social media. When I need the outlet, I just decided to turn on my computer and start recording videos. I'll just share it with somebody. Somebody will get the message and listen eventually. It's like everybody wake up at different times, so I'll continue to be their alarm clock.
Okay. So when they're ready to listen, the knowledge is there for them. Especially you
Right,
build up your
correct.
channel, they can see the progress that you've made, and they can say, "Oh, he's been doing this all year long. I need to catch up and get on track with this," right?
I think that's what it's gonna take. They're gonna have to really see some huge gains or something like that. Like I
Mhm.
post a $10,000 stock win or something like that. They were like, "Oh, can you teach me?" I
So
think that's what it was.
are you gonna share on your channel any of your options plays? I don't think I've
Um,
seen.
I haven't decided yet if I was gonna share that part yet. I'm basically trying to grasp the new investors, the people who are investor curious, trying to get them to just take that first step, because only one that's stopping you is you, because there's no excuse why you don't have the money to invest or you're waiting for a lump sum or things of that nature. Like a lot of people that I meet along my travels, they'll tell me, "Well, I'm waiting for my taxes, and then tax time coming. You invested? No," and they'll never get it done that way.
Mhm, mhm. So Marlene, like, what method do you use for investing? Do you dollar cost average, or how, like, is it something that you do monthly, or what is kind of your plan that you go about to do your personal investing?
Well, I have a thing that I like to call it may not make sense to some, but every time when I'm about to waste some money, like every time I feel like I want to go drive through fast food, I remind myself of my the past of, and the things that I've seen, and I get straight really quick. When you see, like, I grew up, I saw my parents work until they were in their 70s,
Mm-hmm.
and I just have a flashback of that, seeing my parents could barely can walk going into work. And I said, I don't want that to be that. That reminds me of why I need to stay focused. That extra sandwich I was going to buy, or whatever money you were going to blow away, I take that 20, 40, whatever amount of money, and I put that into doing something for my financial future.
Okay, okay. That's a good way to kind of police yourself and keep yourself on track. Prez, it's funny. Marlene often uses the same background that you're using right now. So it's just weird that you decided to choose that one. Right, Marlene? You agree? One of your favorites?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah. I don't know if you knew that, if you've ever stopped by her channel before.
No, I didn't know she had a channel. I'll make sure I check it out and subscribe.
Yeah. Okay.
As a matter of
So,
fact.
all right. So, wow. Like I said, I'm not, let me jump over to the tab where I can see the chat. Oh, thank you, Shalise, and thank you, Robert. Thank you, Shalise. Um, Mary, so many people have popped in. Thank you. I appreciate it. Um, I don't know if you heard me earlier. I'm having a little trouble because my StreamYard is not showing me the chat. So I have to jump over to another tab to try to see some messages. And I'm not going to be able to put up anybody's message because I can't see them over here. But, first time. Um, first time trying this out, and uh, I was I've been watching the Hypathon a few times over the last few months, and I've been thinking to myself, maybe next time I'll do it. And so when I saw the invite or this date pop up, I decided to click on it and give it a shot. And thank you both for popping up to help me fill this time, because it's hard, because especially when you're not used to going live and just being up here talking and talking and talking for a whole hour by yourself. So I appreciate you guys for stopping in. So what can we talk about next? High yield savings accounts and saving like for emergency funds. Did you make sure to have that in place? Do you feel like in the order of doing things, what has to come before you're doing your personal investing? Like, do you feel like you need to be at a certain percentage at your 401k, have at least the whole 6 months emergency fund? I mean, I know I was kind of doing both at the same time. I was investing and trying to build up my emergency fund, but investing here and there, little amounts when I could. But now that I feel that I have a solid amount of months of expenses saved, I'm pretty much just focused on investing and just have my emergency fund sitting in a high yield savings account. Do you agree with that method? Is that how you went about it before you really committed to investing on a monthly or weekly basis?
Well, as for me, I pretty much do it all in one go. Like, I'm all about percentages and properly allocate. I'm real tedious with how I allocate my funds. So it's kind of pretty easy for me because I'm like a neat freak. So I got to know where every penny go. I've always been like that even before I started investing. Like, I write down my money is pretty much allocated before I even would get my paycheck.
Okay.
And I just take it from there. I invest 10% of my earnings, and I also save 10% of my earnings.
Okay. Okay. So is there like a point for you where you think you'll stop saving the 10% because you feel like you have enough in savings and it'll grow more being invested, or is that for something that you'll think about down the road? Because I
No,
think
I
that's where I
actually
got.
I will always save and invest. It's like they go hand in hand. I need them both.
Yeah.
So I will continue to do both for however long I'm able.
Okay. And like, what type of interest rate are you guys getting right now with your savings? I know there's better rates out there. I'm currently getting 4.0, like on my regular savings. I have a little bit of a higher interest rate on my on money that I have in a CD. Do you happen to know offhand like what kind of percentage you're getting? Because with, interest rates have gone sky high, but on the other hand, in the last 6 months, our rates on savings have gone up for me personally every month, or about every month.
Right now, I'm using SoFi for my savings. Is a high yield savings account. I'm getting
4.3.
4.30%.
Okay.
Before that, I just realized I just checked it and it went up to 4.30%. It was
Yep.
3.75,
4.3.
but now I'm looking at it now. It's 4.30%. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think I went from 3.9 to 4.0, but I knew SoFi was at 4.3.
Mm-hmm.
So is that something you do also, Marlene, using like having your kind of savings in a higher yield account?
Yeah, I do that. Like I think like maybe just a few months ago I was like at 3.5, and I think right now I'm at like 3.97. So I need to
Okay.
check out some of what you guys are doing, because that interest rate seems a little better, but I'm at 3.95 right now.
Yeah. And I don't know if it wasn't a common thing to me. It's another thing. Like, I've changed so much within the 3 years, last 3 years. It wasn't something that I had looked into in the past. And I think things have gotten so much easier with us being able to have, you have all your investment apps and you have so much accessibility to these things where, investing when I was a little kid, it was hard. I mean, it was not hard. You had to put more effort into finding a way to invest. It definitely was never going to be as easy as picking up your phone. Now that we have smartphones, it's just such a different world.
I would say, Lisa, that the difference now, being in the technology age, now we are able to go on a computer and do things. Whereas back in the day, I remember when my parents were trying to do things, everything had to be in person. And I think that stops a lot of people because, if you're a working individual and you work 9 to 5, most of the time you can't go into the banks or wherever and do things because by the time you get out of work, everything's closed. But now with having your phone, you can just do everything online or go to a website.
Sorry, I got a little distracted there for a second. Prez, you have a nice smile on your face. What are you thinking about over there?
I was reading the comments. Frank Smith said, "Prez looking good. I see you, King. Nice house."
Yeah, that piano is gorgeous. So someone passed me. Someone in my house is helping me out, giving me some of the comments from the chat that I'm missing. But Prez, it seems like you have the eye on it too. If there's anything up there that we can, talk on instead of just, what I'm over here throwing out to you guys, let me know. But I see that we got a question from Marie Holiday about the thoughts on having having kids investment accounts. So I've talked about this a couple times and I do have a video on it. I chose to create an UTMA account for my daughter, Uniform Transfers to Minors account. And I did that through Fidelity. And Fidelity is my current employer and my previous employer both use Fidelity. So I had retirement savings there. So I kind of had a relationship there currently going. So one day I had some free time. It was a Monday afternoon, which is really the only day when I have some time. So I came home from work and I had been dragging my feet on it. And I'm telling you this part of the story so that it's not hard to do and it should not have taken me as long as it did. So any parents out there, don't wait. You don't have to wait. You don't have to have a lot of money to get it started, any amount, and you can get it started. I chose to use Fidelity. I picked up the phone. I called them. There is a Fidelity local to me in the next town over, but I didn't even have to go into the branch. I got started with setting up the custodial account. I chose to do the UTMA account because I didn't necessarily want her money tied to like in the 529, tied to only operational expenses. But I wanted to invest her money. I had gotten laid off about a little over 4 years ago. And then I was working a contract job and I got back into a full-time position, but my earnings weren't that much because I was kind of getting back on my feet. But I only say all that to say that during the, lockdown and everything, I was receiving stimulus money. Any money I received because of, for my daughter, the extra amounts that I received for her, I was putting it into her savings account and it had been sitting in a savings account 0.01%. And I got on the ball. I called Fidelity and I said, I want to set up an account for her. I called Discover. I set up a high yield savings account. I put some money into a CD. So I feel like I moved all of her money now and the savings that I had for her building, on my own from when she was a smaller child. I have all of her money into places where I feel like her money is growing. So within her UTMA account, she has a mutual fund as well as I do invest on her behalf. I invest primarily for her like 80% into ETFs and the balance into individual stocks. One of the stocks is Apple. I see someone also gave us a question about Apple stock. I do about 10% of her portfolio right now, maybe a little less is in Apple. And, she's receiving dividends and 4 of her investments over there. And, this is totally different than anything that I was given to get my start at life, So I'm going to just keep focusing on building her portfolio there. And the account is going to have to get turned over to her when she's, of legal age in my particular state. And, for now, I'm just going to be trying to focus on teaching her responsibility and the benefits of having time on your side and being young and taking advantage of compound interest and the potential that she can have moving forward in her life. So yes, I definitely think that we need to invest for kids. I think that we buy too much games and toys and Roblox money and that's all fine, but I think there should be a balance. Maybe this month you get a game, next month $50 into VTI. So that's the kind of balance that I'm making. And I said in a previous live that, my daughter, she has an iPhone, but, I'm trying to make the balance there. You have an iPhone, you need to work, and I need to be also investing into Apple, and you have, all these different products that we're using. And, I know, Prez, I know you turned your back on Johnson & Johnson, but, the products that we use in our households, we can also be investing into them. Yeah, so
I didn't like the whole Kenvue spinoff thing. I didn't like that.
I know. That's
what drew me to Johnson & Johnson was the baby powder and not the pharmaceutical side. Like I'm against pharmaceuticals altogether. We can heal ourselves naturally with eating right and proper exercise and like our ancestors did.
Mm-hmm. But that baby powder, that's what led to the lawsuits and a lot of the issues that they had that kind of led them. But yeah, I remember that video when I saw you was like, I sold my Johnson & Johnson. Like, they burned their bridge with me.
I did too.
Oh,
yeah, I don't get married to any company.
Yeah. I never had any of that in my portfolio, but yeah, just mentioning things that, product lines and, Coca-Cola or whatever it is that you are consuming. Remember, you can also, invest into it. And my daughter, I've asked her a couple of times, like, is there anything you would like me to invest into? And she hasn't ever named anything and said, Mommy, maybe McDonald's or this or that. So I'm just doing my own thing for her. But yes, I definitely think it's important. And I would love for this message to get to a young mom, because your child has a social security number. They can have savings account. They can have, 529 account that, you don't, and whatever amount that you can put in there and invest on their behalf, it's worth it. It's something. And I don't know, me personally, I didn't have anything to get started with college and, when I got married, different things like that, I didn't have family members that were giving me money towards those things. So for somebody to have put $100 a year or whatever amount, I don't even like to say amounts, because everything that I do, I like you to know that it's scalable to what your budget is. And you can start with any amount that you have and then, push yourself and build up from there. So, but definitely don't be mindful that, your child has a social security number. You can get going on setting them up an investment account.
I'm not sure. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm not sure if Fidelity still has it or not. But at one point in time, they did have some type of promotion where they will give you $50 for your teen account. All you have to do is make a deposit, like how we did with Webull and Robinhood and things of that nature. You could deposit $1, and they would give you $50 in your child's teen account. I think that's
Okay.
it was just for like the teenage accounts.
I hadn't, I know I don't, I'm pretty sure I didn't have that when I set up her account. I haven't
Hmm.
heard of it, but yeah, call up, ask questions, and everything is going to be based on the states you live in. So I'm not going to give you any details because I know we're all in different places.
Hmm.
But yeah, definitely, choose a broker. If you have children and you're interested in, exploring this, don't wait, you know, and godparents, grandparents, if you let them know, um, maybe they can help every once in a while on the birthday or something to give a little contribution to the child's savings account, and not just birthday gifts and you know or even make the plan behind the scenes, because once it goes to the kids, we have to be kind of instilling into them, do you want to give a portion to your savings account? They might not want to, but um, I hope that I'm working with her to kind of be open to these different things. Um, I see Frank is talking about wearing Jordans and, got to earn money. Yes, like these kids need to get on track with,
And Lisa, I just wanted to say something that doesn't happen a lot, especially in the melanated community, is we always think about, you know, providing for our children, and we think that that's the most important thing, make sure they have a roof over their head. But you also want to teach them financial literacy so that once they finally do start making their own money, they know what to do with it, because you can be working for your whole life. It doesn't matter what your income is. It's not about what you make, it's what you do with what you have. And my parents were a testimony to that, having 10 children, and they didn't have much, but they owned 3 homes. So it's not about what how much you make financially, but it's about what you do with the money. So instead of wasting money, I saw with my own eyes, I saw my mom and my dad taking, instead of spending $200 wasting on fast food and stuff, my mom was saying, I'm saving up money to buy a foreclosed home. And when I get this amount of money, then I go and speak to this person. And then that's how we got this house over here. And when you get old enough, that will be your house. So I saw that with my own eyes. And that you got to give kids something to see in the future, because if by the time you're 18 and you're just thinking, oh, I'm grown and I need to have my own place, you got to open and widen the perspective of our youth and let them know good things and better things are possible for them.
yeah, that's a great example that you grew up with, and so many people don't. And you know, I hope that people hear the message that you just gave, and they can kind of make a change for the future within their own family. That what your parents did was very inspirational, and being also a child of immigrant parents, it is very like inspirational to hear that your family had a such a drive to do better and to build something, especially with so many children with to take care of.
Yeah, my parents were immigrants from Jamaica. They came here with nothing, absolutely nothing. And my both of my parents, they never even went to high school, but
Mhm.
that did not stop them from being landlords. So it I always say that it's not about what you make, it's what you do with what you make. And I didn't, like when you're young, even though I saw it, I really didn't listen. But eventually, maybe in the past maybe 5 to 6 years, I've gotten back on track.
And mentioning about what you make, I think that we really need to like instill into our children, and if we're not on track with it ourselves, we really need to think about living within our means and focusing on what we're earning. And not saying when I earn more, then I'll invest 10%. You have to work within what you are currently earning to get in line with the goals, like you were saying, Prez, 10% saving, 10% investing.
Pay
I
yourself first.
Yes, pay yourself
Pay
first.
yourself
And
first. You worked hard for that money. You sweat for that money. You lost sleep for that money. Pay yourself first. You owe it to yourself.
I
Before I
think
pay
people
any
need,
bill, and I know bills are important, but before I pay any bill, I'm investing that 10%. I'm saving that 10% because I'm not gonna work until I die. It's not gonna happen.
yes. So we got a question about Apple stock. Well, let me see one. Right. Do we all three of us, do we have Apple stock in our portfolio? What is your feeling about Apple? I love Apple stock so much that I think at the beginning of this year, my Apple was the foundation of my portfolio. It was
Mm.
over 50% of my portfolio on Webull was Apple. That's how much I've loved Apple over the last 3 years. And it worked out well for me because my Apple stock, I think last week it was up, I want to say
182.
49%, 49% from, where I was, my average. Do do you have, what percentage of your portfolio, or what do you want to share? Do you have what is your feeling about?
Apple is my baby. I mean, that's like my favorite company. I mean, I still keep it allocated at 5% in each one of my portfolios. They're all pretty much structured like how I do my pyramid, how I break it down, how I allocate the funds. They're all structured the same, but just have different companies at like the level two, like the Apple and Microsoft. Some of them have like United Health Group and Berkshire, things of that nature. But Apple is in each one of them.
Yes, yes. Yes, so I love Apple stock. I was buying it more than anything else. That's why I got to be over 50% of my portfolio. But I have, over the last few months, I'm trying to shift to definitely similar to your pyramid. I love the way you share your pyramid in your
Mm.
videos, by the way. Trying to shift to more VTI and VOO. But Apple will always be a substantial amount just because of how much I accumulated over the years. Um, so to the person that asks, I don't know if that gives you anything. I think that Apple, they had their announcements on
The VR headset.
VR headset.
Yeah, my
Um,
my
on,
Apple is like 30% of my portfolio.
so not maybe not the norm, but as a foundation. And Paris, can you talk a little bit about your pyramid and a foundation for people in here? Like you said, I know your focus is trying to get the average person, beginner investors. So can you talk a little about your pyramid
Well,
structure?
at the base of my pyramid, I have VTI, which is an exchange traded fund. There's over 4,000 companies inside of there, and I do that for overall diversification for one. And then I have realty income at the base of the pyramid too. And VTI and realty income are both 30% each of my portfolio. I chose realty income because of the monthly dividend, and I have exposure to commercial real estate, so I get to play landlord at the bottom of my pyramid, as well as owning all of the stocks. Then on level two, I have Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Tesla, and they're all 5% each. So that's a total of 20%. And as the pyramid scales up, I have more riskier companies, more speculation closer to the top with smaller allocations like 1% each.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I like I said, I definitely have been trying to get myself into a better structure. I made some mistakes earlier on, and I was kind of jumping on board with those, hype stocks and getting into some things that were trades that I wasn't getting out of quickly enough. Um, and I like to talk about this sometimes because, I'm not trying to hear just to paint the picture. It's the stock market. There's ups and downs. And, now that I feel like I know better, I'm doing better because my daughter's portfolio, I think out of everything that I had her invested into, she was maybe everything was green. She was maybe 1% down on her Home Depot stock, and you know, and that's what a little bit of experience has given me. And being mindful to dollar cost average and build a strong foundation on ETFs and those really true blue chip stocks that don't necessarily have the volatility that other things can have. I don't have any crypto in her portfolio. My personal portfolio, I only have maybe about 3%, and that's between a little Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Shiba Inu that I bought back when. But thankfully, I didn't get really deep or hung up into.
I think you're freezing up.
Yeah, you're freezing up, Lisa.
If anybody has taken a look, Prez, anything in the chat that you've noticed that we could kind of touch on for anybody? Thank you for Shalise for hanging out. Shalise has been a mommy trader here on YouTube. Been a great inspiration to me, as well as the gentleman that I mentioned at the beginning of the live, and sharing, her road to growth, how she saves and invests for her children, and really driving home dollar cost averaging. And I think it's really something that I also want to highlight for people. Prez does portfolio updates where he is investing $5 into different stocks, and I had to become open to it. I don't know if either Marlene, do you do any dollar cost averaging, or do you usually just buy full shares?
No, I do dollar cost because that's how I had to start. Because coming from having nothing, you have to start somewhere, and that's how I started.
Mm-hmm. So at first, when I started investing, I really wasn't open to it. I was kind of like, oh, I buy a full share when it's a price I like. I buy the full share. I don't know why. It took a little bit for it to grow on me, but I tell you, I think Tesla, back before the split, Tesla was about $1,000. Bitcoin and Ethereum, Bitcoin was 65,000 the first time I invested into it. Ethereum was nearly $5,000. So just to name a few, those were a few of the first things that I wanted to invest into. And I said, okay, I have to become open to dollar cost averaging and, do $10, $5, whatever I can. But since then, I have grown to just use it as my way of investing. It's very rare that I even buy a full share of anything anymore. I'm always just building, except for my passive income portfolio. I do buy full shares there. And that's probably only because Moomoo does not yet have fractional investing.
I wish they did.
I wish they did too. And I think that it's in the works, but I just want to make it clear, I do buy full shares, but that's probably the only reason why I actually do it. And my investments in that portfolio are like 40 to 60-ish dollars. So it's not, as huge a deal for me to buy a full share. But other investments, I definitely just, whether it's Target, Apple, VTI, VOOs, things like that, I'm just going $5, $10 at a time, most of the time. Um, and I really wanted to just take a minute to just stress this because, you know, it might not sound like much, but when you let a few months pass, before you know it, you have I have nearly 10 shares of VTI, and I haven't invested more than $10 in any day. That's the most I've ever invested. But I've been doing that since September, um, in a particular portfolio. And I'm up 8%. I'm doing better than the market on that particular ETF. And it's because of both the combination of, dollar cost averaging and just staying, persistent with just focusing on that. So Prez, how do you think that dollar cost averaging is impacting your portfolio?
Before I answer that question, I just want to touch on starting with no money. When I first started, I searched around for different referral links. I put a dollar, literally $1 into each referral link that I signed up for each account, and I traded with the free stocks that they gave me for a while until I was real skeptical about putting my money onto this platform. Am I going to get scammed out my money? So I traded with the reward stocks that they gave me. Like as soon as
You
I was
sold
able,
those and then rolled them into something that you
and
actually
some things
wanted.
that I wanted. I started buying fractional shares of this, fractional shares of that. I would let it run up 25 cents and then sell it, buy something else on the day when the market is red. I was doing it like that for probably about 3 or 4 months and
Mhm.
took like a $7 worth of reward all the way up to about $20. And then I started putting my own money in. And to answer your question, dollar cost averaging, I've had more success dollar cost averaging than actually actively trading. It's a slower process, but it's less risk. You pretty much mitigate the risk because you have a set amount and set intervals. So you really don't have nothing to worry about as long as it's a good solid investment, something with some growth potential, things of that nature. You got to really do your research on what your dollar cost averaging into. I
Mhm.
also remember I was dollar cost averaging into every EV company there was. And soon as the global turmoil happened on the other side of the world when the market started crashing, I was looking at my portfolio bleed out. I'm down 60, 70%. Then I just decided I need to figure out a way to reallocate and save some of this capital instead of just keep constantly dumping more capital into falling knives.
Mhm.
But yeah, dollar cost averaging is it's my favorite strategy out of every trial and error strategy I've tried so far along this journey. And I recommend it. I highly recommend everybody to dollar cost averaging to quality companies and make sure you are
Okay.
properly allocating those dollars that you costing and averaging.
Not sure if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me okay now?
Yes, we
No,
hear
okay.
you.
I'm sorry about that. So I see Tay Eats in the chat is asking about uh, options. Um, I haven't done options at all in at least over 6 months, but I can let you know that Prez and I are both have both joined Keenan Grace's Discord, and he has a great course there for learning options and does live trading.
To
That
be
can
honest, that's how I actually learned how to trade options. Now I'm
okay.
trading options out of multiple accounts. One of them is a Roth IRA account where it's 100% cash, and I trade options out of that tax free. And
Okay.
my main trading account that's sitting in Weibo, and I get a um interest just for uninvested cash. I'm trying to
Yes,
pull it up
yes,
now and
that
look
is
at it.
amazing.
It's a new promotion that they just started to where as though I'm getting what is this 5% interest on my uninvested cash, and they accrues interest every day, and they pay it out once a month. So
yes. Yeah, we didn't mention that, but yeah, there's so many places that you can just have your money sitting, not at Bank of America or Chase or your local credit union. I tell you, my local credit union was 0.05. My money at Bank of America was 0.01. And the interest rates that we've talked about, like you said, SoFi, 4.3. My CD rates are close to 5. Getting 4.0 at Discover, and just like you, my any uninvested cash on Webull, very significant rates. So you're just leaving money on the table if you don't make a move to a higher yield savings account, or like you said, in some of these investment apps, or even on Fidelity in my daughter's account, the mutual fund that her uninvested balance, or I don't even have to look at it as uninvested. The rate on her funds, the amount of funds is much better than anything that she would be earning in the local bank. And I'm focused on just having my money for my bills. I'm trying to keep as much money in places where it's growing. I'm just having my immediate money for my daily expenses, monthly expenses, at my local bank and my checking account. Try to keep everything else, accessible, but it might take me a couple days to get it with the transfer, but it's not that much of a hassle. And I charge everything anyways. I think that's something else I wanted to touch on is credit cards, which we haven't talked about. But yeah, Tay, options change his life. Okay, so you're familiar, you're doing it. But yeah, we learned a lot. We've learned a lot from being in Keenan Grace's Discord, including the structure. For me, I learned a lot on the structure of building a strong portfolio. And I've said in the past that he wants everything for us. First and foremost, he doesn't want us to have credit card debt. He doesn't want us to be struggling, not having an emergency fund before, we're all adults. We're going to do what we want to do. Mm-hmm. But before we start getting into these hype stocks and options plays, he has encouraged me and the members of the Discord or people that are just follow, people that follow his YouTube channel to just do it all, have it all, be in a better place for yourself and your family, and build that generational wealth.
Lisa, I'd like a link to his channel and his Discord. I've never heard of him before.
Okay.
He's awesome. My whole pyramid allocation strategy is very much Keenan Grace inspired.
Yes.
To give credit where credit is due.
We're almost at the end of our hour. Thank you so much, Marlene and Prez, for being up here with me for the whole hour. I appreciate you guys. I'm the one who signed up for this. Marlene just did she did her hour from 2 to 3. And she came up here and did another hour with me. And I think you're going again tonight at 7. So please check out Marlene. I'm not sure, what channel are you going to be on later on tonight?
This one, the Marlene Saunders Show.
Okay. So if you want to hear more from Marlene, I believe throughout I think my mods have been dropping your channel as well as Prez's channel in the chat. Coming up next in the Hypathon will be African Dreaming. We're going to drop his chat also, so you can jump over there and check him out at 5 o'clock. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here with me. And please check out their channels. And I'm going to go through the chat after this and read your comments. And if there's anything that you would like to hear me talk more about, or any video ideas, anything you have to share, please please leave me a comment. If you haven't already, please subscribe and, check out my channel if you're new here, and as well as my YouTube partners here that joined me. I appreciate you for watching today. So we have like 4 minutes left.
Lisa, can I say one thing, Lisa?
Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say that I just like to support people and give people a widened perspective, because the majority of people, how they were raised, they aren't born with the silver spoon in their mouth. But you also have to find ways to not stay that way. And until you have some type of awareness and want something better for yourself, and then make a decision to do better, that's when your life is going to shift. And that's what it took for myself. That you have to understand that you can change your life by changing your perspective and then getting into an action.
Definitely, I agree. I love the saying by Maya Angelou, when you know better, you do better. And whenever that happens for you, just act on it. Just push through and just make the change. I think some of us are a little down on ourselves because we feel like it's too late, and you're off. You can't judge yourself or measure yourself against the next person. Um, even if you're 50 years old and you haven't started saving for retirement, what are you going to do? Are you going to wait till you're 60? No, just try from today to, get on track with it. Or if your child, my daughter's in high school already, do I wish that I made some of the strides that I've made more recently in more recent years for her? Yes, but I can't go back in time. I just have to move forward and know that what I know now, I'm putting into action, and I think I'm making good strides. And you know, it is what it is. Invest for your kids. Let's what my channel is about is investing, saving, building wealth, staying out of debt. So yeah, please come back and check out some of my videos, and hopefully this will not be the last live, um, and I can kind of might be able to share my journey in a different way. Like I said, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Prez, anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
Yeah, invest in yourself. There's plenty of access to information via your smart device. I mean, it's called a smart device for a reason, not for social media. I'm not trying to bash anybody or anything like that. It's not for looking at cat videos. I'm guilty. I look at them too. But you can take at least an hour a day and watch. You can go to YouTube University for free. For the cost it costs to keep your phone line on. That's how I pretty much learned everything that I know. Also through
Mhm.
trial and error. It's all on YouTube for free. It's out there. The info is out there. Just take the time and put that TV on mute and watch a few videos every day. Every day. Like, you got to do this religiously. You want
Mhm.
a financial freedom. It's not gonna. You're not gonna hit the lottery. It's nobody's gonna die and leave you a large inheritance. I don't think. Not nobody, because we all come from poverty pretty much. Speaking for myself, like, I didn't have anybody leave me no inheritance, but I don't want to be that one. I want to be the one to break the cycle and leave
Yes.
my grandchildren, my children, because I am a grandfather, um, leave them something behind when I go,
Okay.
other than them having to start a GoFundMe page just to give me a properly lay me to rest.
Yes, Liz. No more of that. Okay. Thank you for closing out this for us. Go over to African Dreaming. His link should be in the chat, and let's continue supporting our fellow YouTubers here during this hypathon. And that's it, guys. All
You did
right.
great, Lisa. You did great.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. And Prez, let's do something else again, more planned than, this, but I appreciate you popping up here with me
No
today.
problem. If
Okay,
you don't
bye
find a way to
guys.
make money while you sleep, you will work until you die.
We're ending it now. Bye guys.